Okay, so today I wanted to talk about, I was contemplating in church this morning, like what I was going to talk about. I knew what I wanted to talk about, but I was going to try to attack it, like how do I talk about it? Because I talked about this subject a lot over years and years and years. And really kind of, it struck me today. I was reading something, actually it's a good book, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. This book, like if you ever struggled with your purpose, your why, what you're trying to accomplish in your life, this book, Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl rocks. He was a Holocaust survivor, and he watched many, many, many people die. And he became a renowned psychologist, wrote this great book. And he talks about, it's hard to read sometimes only because he's very intellectual, okay? But nonetheless, the stuff he talks about, just because he saw people dying all around him, and some stuff can be depressing. Let me just paraphrase in here. He talks about this movie called Resurrection, and it's taken from a book written by Tolstoy. And it's a very old movie. But the purpose of the movie was to talk about the death of facing death by some great people. The problem with the movie is it causes you to think, and that's what he reflects, it causes you to think, when he saw it, it's like, man, if I were going to die tomorrow, I have not accomplished anything great. Like, what legacy would I leave behind, basically, is the idea. Then he talks about a story about this young woman. I'll read this part. This young woman knew that she would die in the next few days. She was in a concentration camp, right? Okay, so, but when I talked to her, she was cheerful in spite of this knowledge. She says, "I'm grateful that fate has hit me so hard," she told me. "In my former life, I was spoiled and did not take spiritual accomplishments seriously." Pointing through the window of the hut, she said, "This tree here is the only friend I have in my loneliness." Through that window, she could see just one branch of a chestnut tree, and on the branch were two blossoms. She says, "I often talk to this tree," she said to me. "I was startled." He said, so Viktor Frankl says, "I was startled, didn't quite know how to take her words. Was she delirious? Did she have occasional hallucinations?" Anxiously, I asked her if the tree replied, "Yes." What did it say to her? She answered, "It said to me, I am here, I am life, eternal life." And I thought, wow, sometimes you think about, often think about if you were diagnosed with a terminal illness, what would you do? If you knew you had 6 months to live, what would happen? I read a story about someone who was told they were going to have, they were diagnosed with leukemia. It was like a mild form of leukemia, like at a very early stage too. And they told him he had like 3 to 5 years to live. He ended up only surviving like 3 weeks, right? So even then, you're expected, you're facing your life that you're going to die within 3 to 5 years, and all of a sudden, not even that was given to you. He was gone in 3 weeks, Now, the point of all this is not to get morbid, but really the point of all this is to kind of talk in a sobering fashion, to really self-assess, what are you going to leave behind? What relationships are you going to leave behind? What have you done that will maybe outlast you? Okay. Who will remember you? That's probably the best way. Here's a great exercise. I think I've done this on this call. I'm not sure, but it's a good one to do again. Okay. So in your mind, tell me if you know your grandparents. Okay. Do you know the names of your grandparents, your paternal grandparents or your maternal grandparents? Now, some of y'all that maybe don't know your father or mother may not know their fathers and mother, their father or mother. Okay. So go through this mental exercise. If you had to raise your hand if you know your grandparents. Okay. How many all would you raise your hand? Okay. All right. How many of y'all know your great-grandparents? How many know your grandparents' paternal and maternal parents? How many of y'all know their names? Okay, so you got Scott Mills. So Scott knows his grandparents' parents. Okay, I'm wondering how many of y'all even know that. Let's take it one more generation. Scott, do you know, because you're probably the only one standing, do you know your great-great-grandparents' names? Okay, so we're talking, you might know one, but you don't know all of them, do you? Okay, so I'm writing on the board now. We got, you know your parents. Okay, maybe you know your grandparents. Scott knows his great-grandparents. Okay, but how much further beyond that? I bet you, Scott, you're probably the only one that made it that far, like all of them. Okay. Now, some of y'all might be, the Mormons are great for genealogy. So if you're into genealogy, okay, you're one of the unusual people, okay? But if you don't know, the average person probably will never even get here. And then, to the next level here. So what am I saying? Your kids know you. Your grandkids might know you. But your great-grandkids, and you're probably dead, will probably not even know your name. It'll be on a tombstone. Is that crazy? I mean, is that crazy when you think about your only legacy is what you'll be remembered for, but what you'll be remembered for, even in your own family, will only go back maybe 2 generations. Do you understand how the shorter time you have to make any kind of impact, your impact can be felt, because look, this generation affected this generation, who affected this generation, who affected your parents, and then here's you, right? There's you. That's all the influence they have was through your grandparents and parents. It's crazy. So why am I bringing up all this? Like, get excited. Get excited because you and I got some work to do. At the end of the day, when they are talking to you, talking about you at your funeral, what do you want them to say about you? Like, if you had to write your own eulogy, well, what would you have them say about you? In other words, did your purpose in your life, was it accomplished? Like, y'all been to funerals. I know you have. And the thing that strikes me when I'm at a funeral is the people. I always love to look and observe the people, the loved ones that are there, pay them respects. They could be someone that they influenced as a coach or as a teacher, or someone at church, or Boy Scouts, or Cub Scouts, or, they felt strong enough pulled to want to come and pay their respects. And then you're like sitting in this casket, and maybe it's open. And it just strikes me when people come up to the casket and they look at the shell of your body and they're trying to remember you when you were alive. And then you see all the collage of pictures, I love seeing the collage of pictures when you were alive. Like when you're interacting with your people, interacting with your family, pictures of you young, pictures of you old, pictures of you when you could, play softball, at the church softball league. I mean, young pictures of you. I mean, it's kind of an estimation of your life in pictures. And then they have, the projector of you projecting pictures, right? And then you got a long line of people at the funeral home walking by your parents and your brothers, sisters, people that survived you, your kids and your spouse, all talking about what a great man or woman you are, right? Then you go to the service, and the service, they'll have people come up and talk about you. And so what are they going to say about you? What is it about you that will have touched their lives in a significant way? Are they going to lie? Hopefully not going to lie. But you know how it is, right? Like some of the people I know you knew how bad they were, like some of their weak points. And people may acknowledge, maybe in jest, some of those. But you would hope that they'd be honest, that they wouldn't have to make up stories about you. I mean, are you getting the picture? Like, when you look at your life from that point, looking back, where you are today, right now, you've recorded events that people have taken note of. You've had memories of people that have been ingrained in their mind, and sometimes your perception of them and their perception are way different. It's like way different than what you were expecting. Sometimes, so it's kind of funny how that is. Like, sometimes you wonder, I hear stuff said about me, and I'm going, God, if they only knew how messed up I am. I mean, geez, I am not this thing, I'm not this or I'm not that. I'm just me, and I try to do my best. I'm working out my salvation with fear and trembling, but I'm not worthy of, some of the stuff that people say about me. I really don't think I am. Again, it's sort of that how you see yourself versus how other people see you. I would hope that, people see me in a good light, but I still have to earn that. I have to earn that every day. I have to earn that every day. And that's really kind of the point of all this, thinking about your eulogy, is what will they say about you? Hopefully it's true. When you look back on your life, what kind of meaning will it have? What kind of purpose are you on this earth for? Are you accomplishing your mission? At the end of the day, at the end of your life, will you have accomplished what God put you on this earth to do? And probably the most difficult part of that is that you're thinking about it at the end of your life, when in fact that thought needs to come to mind on a daily basis. We live each life day by day. I think about, there was somebody who I know who was in this business with us years ago. He also worked at Honda with Kyle Cater. Good guy. In fact, I might have talked to him about him on this conference call. He played drums. I was part of the praise and worship band at the non-denominational worship service before they replaced us with Tim Goad. We had one of Randy's preachers would come and speak, and then I'd be in the band playing guitar. he was part of our band. He was our drummer. And I think last month, he passed away of a heart attack. And he's younger than me. I think he's maybe 40, right? And when I think about him passing away of a heart attack, I promise you that when he woke up that morning, he was not thinking that he was going to die that day. When he got up that morning, he was thinking about what he was going to do on the weekend with his family. He was thinking about coming home and, what Sonia, his wife, would have for dinner. He was probably thinking about helping his kids with their homework that night. Well, for him, that night never came. And we all wake up with that same thought, don't we? We're all thinking about the future. We're all thinking about, like, my daughter, she really sold me on going to this concert with this Christian artist. I don't even know who it is. I mean, I know most of them, but it's some, I don't know. She's like 14, right? And so she got us to buy her tickets so she could be on the front row. I don't even know who this guy is. And it's at the Cincinnati Zoo, and it's Saturday. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. It's me and my wife and my daughter. Like, who goes to Christian concerts with their kids? I mean, I'm sure a lot of you do, but I mean, Jeannie and I went to see U2. So now we're going to this Christian concert of an artist who I have no clue. I always go to a concert looking at the guitar players because I'm into guitar and I'm looking at what amps are playing and what guitars they're playing. So I'm really looking forward to that this Saturday. Okay, I don't even know what time it is. We'll go out, have dinner, have some fun, at this concert. And even now I'm thinking, I'm really looking forward to that. But I may not even get there. Now, I'm not saying that you should always have this morbid thought about, oh my gosh, I'm going to die today. But how would your actions be different? How would you think different if you're working every day for your purpose, for what you're put on this earth to do, for providing for your family, is that what you want your family to say about you? He was always the best provider. He always took care of us financially. He always took care of us spiritually. He fed our family, right? Not only did my dad love me, but he showed me how to love other people. Okay, I mean, wouldn't that be a cool thing for your kids to say about you, for your wife to say about you? Wouldn't you want your wife to say, he's the best man I've ever known? Okay, so with that thought in mind, next time when I see my wife, am I going to be deserving of that? Am I going to hug her and kiss her and say, honey, I love you? Or am I going to die before I have a chance to do that? And then maybe those words are a little more empty when she says them. We earn that every day, gang. We wake up every day with the thought that we're going to have a future, when in fact we need to wake up every day with, what do I want to leave behind? What am I going to earn today for what people will say about me when I'm gone? And I'm not saying that it's a narcissistic thing. What I'm saying more than anything is, can you honestly say, as you assess where you are today in your life, that you will have lived a good life, and then when the Lord sees you, he'll say, well done, good and faithful servant. Will you have earned that? Do you ever think about that? Do you ever think about where you are today, where you want to go, but are you living it now? You live today. We forget that the time that ticks past, like this clock up here, I've got a countdown clock to family reunion. 35 days, 2 hours, 34 minutes, and 53 seconds. That's how many days to family reunion. That's a countdown clock. 35 days, 2 hours, 34 minutes, and 42 seconds. Okay? I am thinking about family reunion. That's why I have a countdown clock. I've signed up for it. I want to be there. But what am I doing today to get there? What am I doing today to get other people there? Look, when I woke up this morning, I woke up a little bit late, so I went to the gym. I did my thing. And I thought about that. I thought about why am I going to the gym? What came to mind right away was I want to be healthy. I want to live longer than someone who doesn't exercise. I know that by the act of exercising every day, that I will earn possibly better health to live longer. You know, assuming that God decides to take me, sooner than later. We've been blessed with free will to do whatever we want to do, and we can do stuff to hasten that, like kill ourselves, like with a gun, or we can kill ourselves with what we eat, or we can kill ourselves with a sedentary life, right? Either way, we're killing ourselves sooner. That's the free will that we have. So I decided I'm getting off, and I'm going to go work out. It was a billionth of a decision, volt of a decision. That's all it takes in your brain to make a decision is this billionth of a volt. It's a little bit of electrical impulse that said, I'm getting up because I want to be healthy. And then what I do with that thought, okay, so you understand how my brain works, is I take the thought of I want to be healthy to the thought, the emotional thought of being alive to see my grandchildren. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so I want to be healthy and live longer, but it's not to live longer so I can drive nice cars and I can, enjoy worldly things. No, I want to be healthy because I want to be with my family. I want to see my grandchildren, Lord willing. Okay, it's tied to something emotional, something that I care about deeply. So when I get up in the morning at 6 in the morning, which is really early, I think, you know what? I need to go to the gym. So I go to the gym. I put everything aside, and then I put on my clothes I still have on, and I go to the gym, and I go on the elliptical, and I work out arms. Now so let me get to another thought. But so I'm accomplishing something. I'm earning the health that I need in order to see my grandchildren. Okay. All right. So after I work out, I go to church. Why do I go to daily mass? Because it feeds me. Number one, I go to communion every day. The body, blood, soul, divinity of Jesus Christ. I get fed every day. The priest, even though he went long, said something to me that let me share it with you, okay? So this is a little bit of an aside. He says that, he told a story, but the point of the story was, you're never as good as you think you are. You're never as healthy as you think you are, but you're never as bad as you think you are. And I thought, wow, that's kind of interesting. And so I thought about when I was working out. So, okay, I know I'm getting a little bit, I hope this is not getting long-winded, but there's a point to all this, I promise. Okay, so I'm working out on machines. I do my arms. I do my shoulders. So it's a military press, but they have two ways to hold it. Okay, there's this way, okay, and you push up, or it's this way, which is real military press where you press up, right? And so I've just been kind of doing a lazy way like this, right? Well, then I said, you know what, I'm gonna do it, so I'm doing it like this. My arms, the way I grip, for those of you who can't see me, it's kind of the way I grip is like I'm holding the bar across my chest. Okay, the other way is holding it, perpendicular to that, just pressing up. Okay, well, I did the other way, and I've looked at it, I go, oh my gosh, this thing sucker's heavy. Like, it was easier to do it the other grip, but this grip, and I thought, oh my gosh, my shoulders, my shoulders are weak. And I could do these, but anyway, the point is, I was surprised how weak I was using that muscle group. Now I've been working out my arms and stuff, but it's like, oh my gosh, this has been something I've been neglecting, right? It was a weakness I discovered, right? Because I tried to do something different, and it's like, oh my gosh, I need to focus on this muscle group too, okay? Now I'm not trying to be like this bodybuilder, but I want to exercise on my muscles, especially my core, okay, because I just want to be healthy, and, anyway. So the point of that is you have no idea sometimes what your weaknesses are until you test it, until it's tested. And that was the point of the story that he was telling, was you don't know how weak your faith is until your faith is tested. You don't know how weak your resolve is until it's tested. You don't know how weak anything is until you're tested. You can go on thinking life's good, but I'll promise you, man, there's something deficient in your life because you have not been tested. And some of y'all are getting tested and are not tapping into the power inside you to meet the test and meet the challenge. So in my mind, in my life, I'm trying to earn my health. I'm also trying to earn my faith. I'm trying to find areas in my life where I can have my faith tested, or stuff will happen to me, okay? But I want to make sure that from a spiritual perspective, I'm strong enough to handle it, right? I'm strong enough to handle the stresses that come my way. Because when I think about faith, if I ain't got faith, man, I got nothing. Like, think about it. Some of us are dealing with hard stuff, and sometimes faith is all what you got, is all you got. Know that God's out there, that he'll always take care of you. That's one thing, this theme that I've been hearing a lot lately. God's talking to me in different things. It's, Alex, I will always take care of you and your family. And it's amazing how many different things, I don't want to get into all these weird things that has confirmed this. Alex, I will always take care of you and your family. Now, I'm going, wow. That's why I go to church every day. That's why I pray every day. Okay? I'm trying to earn, on a daily basis, I'm trying to earn that. I'm trying to earn my faith so I can withstand the crap that Satan's thrown my way, the enemy. I'm trying to earn my health, right? I'm trying to earn the respect of the people I love. I want to earn that they could say about me, their father, their husband, my wife can say about her husband that that I'm the best man she ever knew. I'm trying to earn that. So that guides my actions on a daily basis. What are you trying to earn in your life? What kind of legacy are you trying to earn in your life when that day comes? Because the day will come. We're in the business, baby, of life insurance. We know the day will come. And it'll come like a thief in the night before you know it. So what are you doing every day? What is every minute filled with becoming the person God wants you to be, the best version of yourself? Do you think that if you become the best version of yourself, the person God wants you to be at the end of your life, do you think that you will have earned that legacy that you care about? That you will have earned the respect of the people that love you, the people that you love? I think so. I think so. I think the fulfillment of God's will in your life is that very thing that we all are chasing after, sometimes in the wrong way. We're chasing pleasures that are fleeting. We're chasing things that don't mean anything at the end of the day. When You know, when instead of chasing things, we chase service. We chase ways to serve other people. Does that make sense? Because that's what really, I think, God looks at. He doesn't look at us acquiring stuff. He looks at us to help someone else. Are we giving ourselves away to someone else? Are we serving other people? Are we preparing ourselves so that he can use us as his instruments to go out and serve others? Okay? So I think in this business, okay, I got to sign a UPS. I want to talk about life. I'm sorry. That's all right. All right, had a little bit of interruption there of our UPS guy to ship something in. Anyway, I think the purpose is in line. Your purpose needs to be in line with God's will. And when it is, I think you'll be the happiest person that you could ever be, because you know that you're on the right path. So that when people think about you, you know, at your funeral, they'll think about you in a way that you will have earned it. You will have earned it, right? There's a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, written by Stephen Covey. And in chapter 2, he talks about writing your eulogy, like actually writing down what you want people to say about you at your funeral. It's a very forward-looking thing when you think about what you want people to say about you. And, oh sorry. There you go. Thanks, Gord. So maybe my video's bigger, is it? Okay. Anyway, so I think it's a great exercise. I think you all need to really have a heart-to-heart talk with yourself, you know, in God's presence, and say, what do you want people to say about you? What do you need to be at the end of your life so that it defines what you do today? It defines who you are today. It defines what you do this minute. After this conference call is over, it will define what you do. But Alex, I mean, you know, I get all fired up, you know, your talk sounds great, I'll do it, but then, you know, the next day comes, and the next day comes, and the next day comes. I know, it's a battle. It's a battle. You've got to keep your mind right. You've got to keep your mind always in the game. You've got to be thinking about this all the time, what you need to be doing with your life. So I did an exercise because I wanted to have much more immediacy. That's probably the best word. I wanted to have more immediacy with that whole idea with what I wanted to become and who I wanted to become. So I wrote this letter as if Zoe, my oldest daughter, was getting married. Okay, so that will be sooner than hopefully sooner than when I die. Who knows? I mean, I could die tomorrow. Okay, but I wanted to make it much more immediate, something that I can do today to earn the respect of my children. And so the scenario that I wrote this letter, as if Zoe was writing it to me, was her wedding day. Before I walk her down the aisle, what I imagined was what would she write before I would walk her down the aisle to give her away in marriage. And so I wrote this letter to her. If you've heard our story on MP3 or CD, it's at the end of that, but Based on stuff we're talking today, I felt compelled to read it again. Not really for you, but more for me, to remind me when I wake up every morning, what is meaningful to me when I do this business, when I serve other people, when, we go out there and serve clients. It's this kind of stuff right here. So I'm going to read it to you, and then we'll end our conference call. So, dearest Daddy, well, it's finally here, the day you give me away in marriage. I wanted you to read this before we walk down the aisle together because I could never tell you this in person without crying and ruining my makeup. And you know how much you paid the makeup artist to do my face. Not that she needs a lot of makeup, gang, okay? So anyway. I want you to know how much I love you. Not only because you're my daddy, but for the person I have become. You showed me how much you love me through your example and the role model you became for me. Because you made sacrifices before I was even born to bring mommy home from work to be with me full time, I learned that I am important to you and I am a priority in your life. Because you were free to go to all my basketball games, tennis matches, and piano recitals, when my friends' daddies were too busy at work to attend, I felt confident that no matter how well I performed, you would always be there screaming for me and supporting me. And I'll always treasure that ice cream cone we had after the games to tell me how great I was. Because of your strength and faith in God and His Son Jesus, and how you live the gospel every day, I learned that I'm also a child of God, made in His own image, and that I have value because of it, value enough for Jesus to give His life for me. Because I saw you give yourself away to others, driving miles for people, some of whom never really appreciated all you did for them, I learned that there is value in others who deserve the same opportunity I had in having full-time parents. I also learned that when you serve God's people unselfishly, you are not only blessed here on earth, but you also store treasures in heaven. Because I saw you tithe and offer the first fruits of your labor, I learned that my source is always God, not a job or even the business, and that by giving away more, you receive more in abundance. You taught me that you can't outgive God. Because you gave me a godfather and godmother and Uncle Roger and Aunt Maureen, strong in their faith and unswerving in their convictions, I learned to always seek the truth through the Holy Spirit's guidance, because by knowing the truth, it will set me free. Because I saw you say, I'm sorry, to people with big egos who are in the wrong, I learned humility of spirit and the ability to forgive 70 times, 7 times. Because I only heard encouraging and uplifting, positive words come out of your mouth, I learned how powerful the spoken word is and how to be a blessing to everyone I meet. Because of the way you love Mommy by your words and your actions, and the way you treated me as a lady worthy of the highest respect, I learned to respect myself and expect that from every gentleman I have met. Because you taught me that a man should have vision, honor, integrity, character, and faith in God through Jesus, not by words, but by your actions. Today I will marry the man of my dreams because he is just like you. Remember, you'll always be my daddy, and I will always be your little girl. I love you, Daddy. So. So that's the man I strive to become, and I strive to earn every day. And I'm not perfect, and I don't do it every day. I try, but that's what I'm trying to earn. So hopefully when I'm helping you all, I'm earning that letter that Zoe may or may not write to me. But that's what I have in mind. So when you wake up in the morning, I want you to think about that person that you want your family to think about when you leave this earth. And maybe it'll affect what you do today, every day when you wake up. Every day you're given another day, a gift of another day to be on this earth, to serve God, to serve his people, to serve your families, to serve. Every day you're earning it. So I hope you earn it well today, gang. God bless you all. Take care.